There we go. Okay, so hi everybody, and it is playlist number 12. We'll be doing the first song is Waltz and Sweaters, and we can get started. Oops, the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can press your buttons. And since it's really cold out today, we're going to start on our backs with some abdominal work. So remember with the abdominal work, well, let's get down onto the floor first, and then we can discuss it. Keep your blocks nearby. I'm sure there's going to be points where we're going to need our blocks as well. Just taking a moment to find the floor. Roll yourself down and settle in. We'll start with our knees bent. You can walk your feet wide and drop the knees together. Just feel the shoulders starting to soften down towards the floor. Feel the length of the spine from tailbone through head. Arms heavy, legs heavy. And breathe. So for some of you that have neck issues when doing abdominals, my advice would always be try to keep the neck out of it and move from the other end. But I know some of you still will say, well, yeah, that's all well and good. I'm still going to try this. If that is you, just try to keep the ears back. So always remind yourself that when we're moving through our abdominal stuff, we're trying really hard not to use our necks. We're trying to use our bellies. So here we are in constructive rest where we can feel all the shapes of our spine rolling up and down kind of like a little wave. We feel the sit bones or the sacrum, rooting down. We feel the mid-back or lower back kind of up off the floor. Thoracic is down. The neck is off the floor. Head is down. So noticing that wave. When we move into abdominal work, especially, well, not always, but today, we're going to start to release the low back to the floor. We're going to imprint it. So feel yourself press the low back to the floor. You're going to feel the tailbone reaching a little bit more forward towards your heels, perhaps maybe a little up towards the knees. All fine. Okay. And then we're going to start to release or press down more through the belly button down towards the floor as we lift the legs up. And we're going to start with our legs just in this halfway up position. Now, the low back may want to come off the floor. Really do your best to press it down and feel how that engages those low abdominal muscles to fire up. Try to keep your heels lined up with your knees. And here we are, just kind of hanging out. So we're going to start with our lowest abdominal muscle by doing some toe tapping. And toe tapping seems really easy, right? So not really doing much. But if you start to lower that right foot down so slowly, so tentatively, as if you are blindfolded and you know beneath you there's a hot bath that you don't really want to get towards, but you know you have to get your foot in, that's how slow I want you to move. Touch it down, and then inhale, lift that heel back up. Let's do the second leg. So the left leg starts to touch down, almost touches, and then we lift it back up. Also notice here, as we move back and forth, trying to keep breathing, trying to keep the upper body from really getting involved here. So what I mean by that is, yes, there's a lot of contraction through the abdominals, there's a lot of work being done, but that work is not translating up into the neck and shoulders, and it's most certainly not translating up into the jaw. So be mindful of that. Also, try to keep that line so that knees lined up with the ankles and the knees lined up with the hips, not knees coming over towards the chest. That just makes it a little bit easier. So press those thighs away. Let's do another 2 sets. at your own time, which is why I'm not guiding you. Just stay and feel the work that this is doing through those low abdominals. If you want a little bit more just, feedback, take your fingers and just press them into the area just where your pelvis is and notice all that muscle there. Excellent. All right, from here, we're gonna draw those knees in. And just give yourself a little hug. Okay, so keep holding on to the right leg, and we're gonna take the left leg out again in this position. From here, we're gonna keep squeezing that right leg in towards us as we feel as if, and though it's not really happening, that your left hand is pressing here. I'll show you what I mean by pressing. It's not pressing, but that's the feeling. I want you to get that engagement as you draw that right leg in. We're gonna stretch that left leg straight. And then exhale, draw back to neutral. And we'll do that 5 times. Inhale, out. Exhale, squeeze back. 3. And don't let the low back move off the floor. 4. And last one like that. So again, you can stay like that if you want, or you can take your hands, here's what I mean, to the back of the head. And as we exhale and stretch that leg out, you can roll the belly or the heart towards the knee, and then back. Now pick a breath, so you can exhale out and inhale down, or inhale out and exhale down. That's up to you. Do what makes more sense to you. And also notice here how much your head wants to help out here. Just keep it in the arms. Excellent. And we'll do one more set like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Beautiful. Let's draw both legs into your chest. You may notice already you got that warmth. So much so I'm taking off my shirt. Give you an extra moment to, take it easy. All right, coming back down, let's do the second leg. So we'll start off drawing that left leg in, and the right leg is going to come back into that position that you're in, like an upside down or collapsed chair. Knee and ankle lined up, knee and hip lined up. As we exhale, inhale, stretch that leg out, and exhale it back. Or again, pick a breath, or pick your version of breath that makes sense to you, and back. 3, 4, and last one, 5. Now, you know where we're headed, so you can feel free to do that again. It's still work. If not, your hands are coming behind your head is resting into the hands, elbows come in, and as you reach the heart towards the knee, we stretch that right leg away. Draw back, and again, moving forward. Stay with your breath, keeping that low back flat to the floor. Two more. Well, that's not true. 2 more on this set. I know that's kind of rude to say. All right, now again, one more set. 5, 4. Try doing this and talking, so much fun. 3, and 2, And last one. Come back in. Give yourself a hug. You can rock from side to side. So we're gonna do one more set that's gonna also amp up the work. So of course, feel free to do what works for you. This time we're gonna stretch the legs straight. Okay, start here. Okay, so, and again, if you want, instead of having your hands back behind you, you can also reach them forward. As you're reaching forward again, you're not looking forward, you're looking up. So collarbones wide here, and the leg stretches out. So this is stage number one. Stage number two, arms lift up over the head and the left knee bends. Okay, stretch the leg straight. If you want, you can bring the right leg towards you. And then back. And 3. So any of these extra movements, arms overhead, head lifting up, are all going to increase abdominal work, increase a little fire through the belly, but also increase, you know, if you have issues, you got to be mindful. 4. And last one. Last one of that set. Take a moment. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Hold here. 5, ears back, collarbones wide. Hug the hips in. 2 more breaths. And last breath. Draw the knees back to the chest. Feel the warmth. Okay. Take the left leg up. We'll start with the right leg in that bent position. You can do whatever you want. So either you're just moving the legs, you take your hands back behind you, or you're adding the arms. 2, 3, if you want, you can start to squeeze that left leg closer, which again is also more work. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Hold your heart up. Stretch for 2 breaths. Collarbones wide. Hug the hips in. Low back down. And then everything comes down. And we feel the water on our bodies. Feel the glow that is just kind of sprung from that well. You're going to take the feet back down to the floor and just give yourself a stretch. And then give yourself another stretch. And then we're going to take the hands behind the legs and just start to rock a little bit on your spine. Try to make the movement of the spine kind of very, not lumpy. And then you're up. You can cross your feet and make your way up. We're going to come to the backs of our mats. Everybody feeling that? So take a nice big inhale. And just let it kind of get out of you. You can exhale it out with your mouth. And then we'll get started on a little bit of that side bend that I was talking about. So start off with your feet about hip width apart. Stretch the arms up over the head. You can grab your right wrist. We're going to stretch over towards the left, but as we stretch over, stretch up first. So lots of length, and then begin your cascade over towards the left Here, if you want, you can start to feel the left ribs hug in towards the body. So that side of the left side of the body is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Getting smaller, contracting, to make room for a longer right side. Feel your heart lengthening up towards the right hand. Beautiful. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Let's take the right hand, or both hands down. We'll take the right arm back behind you. Press the back of the hand into the sacrum, and then just either stay like so, just getting a nice little stretch through the neck, collarbone wide, or you can take your left hand to that collarbone and look over your left shoulder. Notice you can get notice where your tailbone is. If it's starting to stick out behind you, use the arm to lengthen the sacrum straight down towards the floor. Beautiful. We're going to release the head back through center, release that arm, give it a little shake, and we'll stretch both arms back up. Grab hold of the left wrist this time. We lengthen up first, and then it's a cascade over towards the right. And the heart's always, as we inhale, we feel it lifting up. Keep both shoulders lengthening back behind you for this first set. So if we were up against an imaginary wall, both shoulders would be on the wall. The right side is contracting to make the left side even longer. Heart lifting up. One more breath. And then inhale yourself all the way back up. We'll release the hands. Take that left hand behind you. Press the forearm into the sacrum, lengthen it down, and then you can take your right hand to the left shoulder. Give yourself a nice little massage if you want. Beautiful. And then we're going to come back through center and release the hands. Stretch the arms back up again. Grab hold of the right wrist. As we exhale and move over towards the left again, this time bend your knees a little bit and start to feel that right shoulder reaching down towards the floor. Be gentle. Bend a little bit more. See how the stretch goes down further towards the bottom of the rib cage. Press down through the feet as you roll yourself back up through the side. Lift up. Release the hands. Take both hands behind you with your right thumb on top. And as the biceps roll out, stretch the fingers down towards the floor. Here you can stay or you can start to fold forward. And let the back of the neck be long. Feel the biceps roll out. And if it feels okay to lift the hands off the back, reach the knuckles up towards the sky. Let the back of the neck be even longer. Beautiful. We'll bend our knees again, release the hands, and start to roll yourself up. Really like one vertebrae at a time. Stretching the arms up towards the sky. Grab hold of the left wrist, lengthen up. Over towards the right, and as we bend our knees, start to reach that left arm forward and down. Bend the knees enough that you should feel just comfort. Take an extra breath here. And then start to roll yourself up as if you're starting to come up one vertebrae at a time. Lift up. Release the hands back behind you with the left thumb on top this time. And then again, we fold belly to thighs and just start to release. Release the belly to the thighs so that's comfortable. Release the back of the neck. And if it feels okay to reach the arms up over your head, go for it. Excellent. Release the hands to the floor, and we'll slide ourselves up one vertebrae at a time. Okay, stretch the arms. One last set. So this time again, we're going to go further. If you found that that last one was enough for you, then stay with that one. Don't continue. It's just a little farther. You could just stay longer in either the side bend, so lengthen up and over to the side bend. Bend your knees, and if it feels okay to start to roll yourself over a little bit more, keep bending, and then just start to follow the side ribs down towards the side waist, towards the hips, and then holding. Pressing into the feet as you roll yourself up. Nice and slowly. Stretch up. Release the hands, and this time we'll just do a nice big circle with them. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, release them back down. Inhale, sweep up. Grab hold of the left wrist. Lengthening up and over towards the right. Either staying here if you felt that first time was a little tricky. If it felt okay to roll down, then go for it again. If you want a little bit more, just keep going. Feeling yourself incrementally moving through that sideways as if you can feel each intercostal muscle getting an extra moment of love. Hold for a breath or two. And then you start to roll yourself up. Stretch up. And a nice big circle. Okay, let's create a little tension in our shoulders. And if there was anything about those moves that's like you weren't sure about, place it right here. Let it go as you exhale with a big exhale through the mouth. So it's gone. All right, so we're gonna fold ourselves forward and just start to walk your hands forward towards the front of your mat, coming into a downward facing dog. As we inhale, we're going to come forward into plank pose, and then we're going to touch our knees to the mat. So if you want to come in, we're going to move into cat and cow, but let's just take a moment in our cat pose and just feel a nice stretch through the back of the neck, through the shoulders, and see what work you just did through the mid-back. Okay? Feel your belly button drawing towards the ceiling. Feel the tailbone reaching towards the knees. Keeping your upper back as it is, start to lift the tailbone up and back. And see if you can start to move yourself incrementally through the spine until you make your way through a cow pose. Heart reaching through the arms, upward arms drawing back. Head, we're just going to take the chin up for a second and notice the sensation of that upper back stretch. It's not real. So we're going to keep the chin back to neutral and see if we can create that same sensation, pulling the hands and knees towards each other. So now that's more of a real stretch through the upper back. Is it real? Like maybe I'm lying, but I know that the chin lift up is not really what we want. We want to have that head as an extension of the spine, and the back bend we want is to feel the same thing with that head as an extension of the spine. From here, we're going to tuck the tailbone under again and start to roll through your spine back into cat pose incrementally. And the cool thing about this is if you really stay present, and the more you do it, the more you really focus on it, the more you're going to start to feel the movement kind of waving through the body. So do it a few more times here. You can do this with your knees off the floor as well. Of course, it's a little bit more challenging. And then everybody come back into cat pose. We'll meet you in cat. And now press the heels away and lift those knees off the floor. Beautiful. Stretch back up, downward facing dog. And let's take our right leg up and back behind us. Sweep it up and take it towards your right thumb. So let's start with that back knee on the floor. If it feels okay, plant the left hand to the floor or a block. Here's one for your shoulders. You're going to start with your hand on the back of the head. Press the hand and head into each other a little bit, not so that your head is pushing, but just so that you can feel like you feel the palm of your hand kind of cupping the head. And then lift the elbow up and feel that stretch through the shoulder blade. Notice here, the head, the neck are not involved. As we exhale, we're going to take that right elbow towards the left elbow. And it may even touch. Inhale, stretch it up. Be gentle with the arm, be gentle with the shoulder, but this is a good way of kind of getting a little bit more mobility in the shoulder as long as it feels good. I know some of you got shoulder issues, so be mindful to not push yourself here, just to explore your actual range. Do one more. This time we can lift that arm up over your head. As we exhale, we can take it over the head and maybe reach that left leg straight. Beautiful. And then we'll take that right hand back down towards the floor. Turn both palms to face forward and reach the left heel back of the neck away from the left heel. Hug that right knee into the chest and be here. Beautiful. We're going to press down through the hands again. We're going to take that right leg all the way back and up again. And then forward slowly into a hanging plank. Beautiful. Hold. And then try to keep this position. Take the leg back, belly in. You're in plank pose. Nice. Melt the heart down. You can tap the knees down if you want to. Pull yourself a little forward and start to bend your elbows until you come down towards the floor. And let the head touch. Let's take the arms a little wide, a little forward into cactus. Take the shoulders forward towards the floor. Up toward your ears. Back and up towards the sky. And then down toward your hips. Again, down towards the floor. Feel the shoulder blades widening off your back. Inhale, lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Then up towards the ceiling. And then back. And then just a little bit of shoulder work, like little shoulder circles. You can take your hands into cactus. If that gives you a little bit more feeling that you can get into this. And then plant the hands down, draw the elbows back, and with the shoulders drawing forward and into the heart, start to peel yourself up. Feel the upper arms draw back behind you. Here, the collarbones are nice and wide. Exhale, slowly come back down. Slide the hands back, press hands and knees into the floor. We're lifting ourselves up. And it's either downward facing dog or a moment in child's pose. And if you're in child's pose, see if you can rest your head on the floor and even come up onto your ridge top fingers or cupcake hands or spider hands. As the upper arms draw back, feel your underarms hollow. Let's plant those hands back down to the floor as we make our way back up and into downward facing dog. And we'll do the same thing on the second side. So planting the hands down, we're going to take that left leg and sweep it all the way up. Away from the hands. And then take it all the way forward towards that left thumb. Plant the right hand down to the floor. Take your left hand to the back of the head and have it comfortable. As we inhale, we're going to reach the heart open. As we exhale, take the elbow towards the right elbow. Inhale, sweep the arm up. And exhale down. You know, if the head is too far, good. You can always take your hand to the shoulder. Hand to the head is a little bit more work. Let's do one more. Inhale, sweep up. And down, and this time as we inhale, come up, you can release the hand, stretch it up, and over your head, nice. Reach from heel through head. We're going to take that hand back down towards the floor, plant it, lengthen. Breathe. And then press into the hands to take that leg all the way back and up, three-legged dog. Inhale, come forward, hanging plank, melt the heart. From here, belly in, slide that leg back through plank pose. And again, you can tap the knees down as you lean the body forward, draw the elbows back, come all the way down to the floor, tops of the feet flat. We'll take our arms wide again. Into that cat, into the fingers in that lovely little spider-like thing. Loop the shoulders into place. So feel the back of the shoulder blade. Tip the heart forward and up as you lift up. And then get those collarbones wide. Head and extension of the spine. So be mindful of lifting the chin up. And if you feel that happening as you drop the head down, make the collarbones wider and see if that feels any better. You can stay here or you can start to look over your right shoulder, keeping that right shoulder wide. Breathe. Can you feel the space opening up through the right front lung? Come back through center. Nice, over to the second side. Notice how much the body wants to shut forward, so keep those collarbones wide. Breathe deep. Feel the breath in the left front lung. And then come back through center. And all the way down, take a moment, let the head rest. If you want, you can take your hands to the back of your neck and give yourself a little massage here. One of the things that I love about yoga and opening up the shoulders and opening up the upper chest is it gives you the opportunity to massage yourself. Like, you know, you can be in a position like this and it doesn't feel like you're contorting yourself to give yourself a little self-love. And it almost is as good as someone else doing it for you. Let's slide those hands back. Again, we'll press up into tabletop position. And if you want to do this without your knees on the floor, go for it. But let's just roll this again through cat and cow, trying to move as slowly as we can. So start off in cat pose, pressing the hands and knees away from one another. Keep that upper back exactly as it is as you start to lift the tailbone up. And then start to roll one vertebrae at a time through the spine until you make your way up and into cow pose. Take a nice big inhale here. And then moving back to cat pose, moving from the tailbone, moving very slowly, seeing if you can really find that each vertebrae can move on its own, and that feeling is just delightful. Beautiful. Let's inhale, come back into tabletop position. Press the floor down, melt the heart, press the heels away, lift the feet or lift the knees off the floor. Beautiful. Exhale, try to stretch yourself back into plank pose and then downward facing dog. Let's take the right leg and bring it forward towards the right thumb. And here you can use your blocks if you want to. We're going to move into pyramid pose. So hands on blocks, hands lined up with your ankles, and just stretch that front leg straight. Feel your hips level off. Feel the tailbone and the crown of the head reaching away from one another. Feel your upper outer arms drawing back. Press down a little bit more through the big toe mound of that right leg, feeling a big stretch through the whole back side of the body, or back side of that right leg. Big hamstring stretch, also a big calf stretch. And then coming forward into your lunge pose. Press out to the heel, reach the heart up and away from that back heel. And then you can start to move back and forth a little bit. Excellent. One last time. And as we inhale and come forward, reach the head a little forward. You can start to release the hands and reach them back. Imagine your hands are hugging or squeezing your hips into one another. Keep that front knee bent, bend the back knee a little bit and pull yourself up to the back of the heart. Take the arms up. We're going to take our left arm underneath our right one, and we're going to give ourselves a hug. As we inhale, let's lift the elbows up. And then as we exhale, try to bring your elbows towards your belly button. So this is balance, as I'm sure you're realizing. So if you feel wobbly, excellent. Do that 2 more times. Have to move slowly and surely. So the slower, more methodical, really rooting down to that front leg. Try to keep that front knee bent will also give you better balance. Beautiful. And then you can release the arms, sweep them up. And we've done it. Both hands to the mat. Way to go. Step back. Plant the hands. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's look forward. We'll take the left leg forward. And hands back onto your blocks. We'll start with a straight leg stretch. The hips are lining up. The heart is reaching forward through the crown of the head. As you press the big toe mound into the foot, into the mat, you're going to get more of a sensation. So feel the outer left hip reach back, the big toe mound reach down, and feel the length through the whole back side of the leg. And then let's move. We'll come into a lunge, reaching the heart away from the heel. And then you can just start to move back and forth a few times. Excellent. All right. Coming forward into your lunge. Lengthen through the back heel, front knee bend. Take your hands and kind of hug them towards each other to encourage your hips hugging towards each other. We don't want that left hip hugging out to the side. We want to keep ourselves nice and streamlined here. So keep the front knee bent. We're going to start to draw ourselves up to the back of the heart. Bend that back knee. Just a little easier. Take the arms up. And the right arm underneath the left. We give ourselves a hug. Inhale, lift the elbows up. And exhale, rounding in and down. And yeah, we wobble here. That's okay. Wobbling is not a failure, which is what we think. It's like, oh, we're not doing it right. It's like, no, it's just a good indication that we're going a little bit beyond our own, pushing our envelopes. Excellent. Here's our last one. So inhale and come up. You can release the arms, sweep up. And then both hands to the floor. Plant the hands, step back, and down. Let's slide ourselves into a Sphinx pose. So why is Sphinx? Why would we do Sphinx after we've already done Cobras? Just to check up on how it feels. And we know that this is the pose. Our Sphinx pose, our Cobras, and our upward facing dog should all feel the same. And sometimes we forget because this is so easy. It's like, yeah, but I feel nothing in my low back. It's like, yeah,
Exactly. How do we get from nothing in our low back the whole way up? And that's because we want to keep the low back and the sacrum pretty much the same here as we would as we draw our arms back, loop the shoulders, and come up here. So keep pulling the hands back and reach the heart forward. I always usually start with my elbows bent. And then press. Now, most of the work in this pose is in the arms, and I feel this mostly in my forearms. Collarbone's still nice and open. Notice again where the chest is, where the heart is. Heart is reaching forward and up, but not because the head is telling it to, because the heart is telling it to. Oh, I love how sometimes yoga is really, just a good way of metaphoring the whole life. Yes, we should always lead with our hearts. We'd be so much happier. Exhale, slowly come back down. Press hands and knees, or maybe hands and toes this time into the floor as you make your way up and into downward facing dog. Let's take a look at your hands. Make sure that your hands are set up the way you'd want them to be for your perfect and most ideal downward facing dog. Wrists are facing forward, fingers are spread but not overly spread. As we press down to the floor, we feel that full lift up through the hips, to the tops of the thigh bones, back of the neck long. Let's take our heels, lift them up. Bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the front of the mat, however that works for you, but try to make it soft. Fold forward into a forward fold. And now as we come up again, I want to press down to the feet and see if we can slowly, incrementally move ourselves all the way up. Press down to the floor, lift the arms up over the head, palms together. And we'll slide our hands right down through to our hearts. Heart up into the hands. As we inhale, keep the heart lifted. Release the hands. And as we take a moment in our mountain poses, just notice how you're rocking your mountain pose today. Feel grounded through the feet. Feel the weight from your hips really penetrating down through the floor, creating such a deep foundation that everything from the pelvis up is feeling length. And we're feeling length not only through the front, but also through the back of the torso and also through the sides. Soften through the backs of the knees. Make sure that you're in this pose without any excess tension that we're creating, and just be here, unmovable in our own self-determination. Strong, quiet, knowing. All right, let's move on to some sunset sun salutations. So let's take the arms up, we'll reach them up towards the sky, palms together, we look up. As we exhale, we'll fold forward. Feel the inner thighs spit back as you fold forward. Hands can touch the floor. They can slide to your shins as you lengthen into a flat back. And as we exhale, let's take the hands to the floor and we'll walk ourselves back into plank. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank and touch the knees to the floor. Roll through your cat and cow. That was cow. I meant cow and cat, but it doesn't really matter. Come back through tabletop, press the heels away, lift the knees off the floor, stretch the heels forward, or back, head forward. Downward dog. Try that again. Come forward into plank, kind of round. Let's do a cat tilt forward into plank pose. That'll feel nicer in the shoulders. A lot of upper back work here, kind of feeling nice and solid. Touch the knees to the floor. Pull the hands and knees towards each other. Roll through cow. Exhale back through cat. Inhale, coming through tabletop position. Press the heels away, knees come off the floor. Press the heels away, head forward, plank pose. Downward dog. I just wanted to do it once that I actually said it right. Inhale, lift the heels up nice and high. We'll bend our knees and make our way back to the front. And fold. Hands to the shins, lengthen into a flat back. And as we exhale, again, feel the hinge. Maybe bend your knees here. Let the whole body relax and rest on those nice, strong legs. Feel the back of the neck lengthen. Let your shoulders go. And then start to roll yourself up again, incrementally, seeing if you can find that way all the way through the spine, one vertebrae at a time, one intercostal muscle at a time. When we come back up, let's bring the palms up, spread through the fingers, reach them up and away, and then slide your hands back down to your hearts. Beautiful. Last breath here. And we can release the hands. Let's sit back, come into Uttanasana. Beautiful. Now look down and see if you can see your toes. Pull your shins back a little bit. Draw your belly in and feel the tailbone reaching away from your fingers. See if you can sink a little bit more. Again, just building a little heat. Feel the sides of the ribs draw back and the upper arms kind of come forward and up towards your fingers. And sink a little more. Beautiful. One last thing. And then just fold over the legs. Move slow. See if your hands can touch the floor. If not, don't worry about it. Keep them on your feet or on your shins. We're going to lengthen into our flat back. And then bring your hands to the floor. We're going to step ourselves back and down to the mat. Inch your hips back a little bit. You can even lift your legs up and try to walk your legs back a little bit. Let's take our hands back behind us and just rest palms together on top of one another's hands, or you can bring the palms into, you can hold on to your palms like in a grasp, go for it. If not, just back to the hands or one hand down, the other back on top, and lift the upper arms up. So feel here the bottom tip of the shoulder blade, reaching upward forward, and then in either one of the positions with your hands, just reach the hands, press the sacrum flat, and reach the heart up and away. Back of the neck long. Press the pelvis into the floor, and notice if your belly is pressing down into the mat, and if it is, draw back up towards the spine as you press a little bit more down to the pelvis. See if you can lift the upper back a little higher. Back of the neck still long. All this is upward back work. Shoulders are soft. Breathe. Maybe a little higher, maybe lift the legs. If your hands are at your sacrum, we're going to reach the back, unloose your hands. Little yogi flying. We're going to plant the hands underneath the breast, loop the shoulders, and peel ourselves up into cobra, maybe upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice big inhale here, and a big exhale through the mouth. Let's do one more like that, let the head go. Inhale. Let's take that right leg, lift it all the way up and away from the hands, and take it forward towards the thumb. We're going to make our way all the way up into a warrior two pose. Let's bend that front knee. Can you bring that right foot into a right angle? Can you do that without the right hip kind of sinking towards that thigh? So get that same position as when we were lying down. We wanted to have the thighs moving away from the hip. Same thing here. Okay, we're going to spin the back leg forward again, coming back into a lunge. And we're going to cross our left arm underneath our right one. Give yourself a hug. From here, we're gonna start to now, you can drop the back knee to the floor if you feel really wobbly, or you can keep it up as you take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. You're coming into this nice big hug here. Pull the legs towards each other, reach the head away. So for all of you piano players, this is a good way into that upper back. Lengthen the inner left heel away from the crown of the head. You should be looking towards your right. Then if you want, we're gonna unwind this. You're gonna take your left hand out, and you can take your right arm and reach it up. Beautiful, let's bring the palms together, coming into a prayer. This one's a challenge, I apologize, but if you can't do it, don't worry about it, but try. Try if you can. Imagine lifting that left arm off that right leg. If not, just, even trying it, notice all that contraction through your core, and then we're gonna lift all the way back up and into warrior two. Nice. Back hand is gonna drop, we're coming through our exalted warrior. Exhale, all the way back down to the floor. Moving through a vinyasa. Downward dog. I think we started with the left leg up and back, reaching away from the thumbs. I'm gonna take that foot forward as we make our way up and into warrior two. Reach through the arms. If your arms are getting tired, you can rest them. If you're resting them, which is fine, just imagine your elbows pointing out. So there's still lots of determination here. This is not a cop-out. It's just less arm or less shoulder work. I'm gonna unplug that back heel as we come forward, and we're gonna give ourselves a nice hug. Right arm is underneath. Start to slowly, back knee can come to the floor as you reach your your right shoulder, right upper arm towards the left thigh. Lengthen the inner heel is coming back to the midline, reaching the head away. I'm gonna reach the right arm out first, press down, lengthen, and you can just sweep that left arm all the way up. Palms together. So here again, that hard work. And just thinking about it kind of makes you a little stressed out, yeah? So that's fine. You can be stressed out by it, or you can just try. And notice, it's not as challenging as you think. You just have to really contract your lowest abdominal muscle and lift. Once up, sweep up warrior two. And we'll come into a little exalted warrior. Beautiful. All the way back down to the floor. And one last vinyasa. Look forward, we're gonna hop to seated. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's have a little bit more fun than that. Look forward, let's hop to the front. And fold. We're gonna Utkatasana to seated. So coming into Utkatasana, now again, if you've got bad knees and you don't want to drop down, then just come back to the floor. But keep going, keep going, keep going. And lift the legs up. Reach the heart up. We're going to start to reach the legs forward as we round back. Keep reaching the palms forward as we lower, lower, lower. And point the toes, lift it all the way back up if you can. Exhale, lower, 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 lower. And then up. This time we get to come all the way to the floor. Nice and slow. And take a break. And just feel the weight of the arms, the weight of the legs drop. Notice how nice the floor feels after the work. Now, does it feel so good because we've accomplished something? Perhaps, who knows? But it certainly, regardless, it does feel nice. All right, so one last little fun core work. We're going to take our legs back up towards the sky. So you can bend them, press the low back down, reach the legs up. Take your arms up over your head. And press the hands into the floor as you start to lift your legs up, and see if you can. Actually, let's do the first one with our hands down, it's easier. And just roll yourself up. So right now, my work is not, my head is off the floor, only to show you that you don't have to do this with your head. And roll up, and then slowly roll all the way back down. Okay, so you can keep your hands below, or you can take the arms up and do the same thing. So this is just like a upside down or I guess it's upside down push-ups. It's kind of what we just did, just in a different direction. And we'll do one more. Now, if the legs are moving, I can promise you, just the effort that you're putting in will one day work. Now we're going to take our hands behind our legs and we'll roll ourselves up. Beautiful. Take a nice big inhale. And oh my God, we did a lot of good work there. Wow. Take your right hand to your left shoulder, left hand to your right. Excellent. Okay. Now we get to really just relax and enjoy the rest of this easy part of the practice. We're gonna come into our legs wide. We're gonna drop them over towards the right. Oops, that's the right, sorry. We're gonna keep our right hand on the floor and just stretch the left arm up and over. The right elbow can bend. Nice side stretch here. Inhale, come back up. Drop the left hand and just stretch it, the right arm up and over. Should feel nice. You can move your knees around, exactly your legs around until inhale, come back up. Take a nice big breath because you can, and we'll switch legs. Oops. Right arm up and over. It doesn't matter which way you go. And then second side. Beautiful. Coming back up, we'll bring our legs together into a little down angle. Slide them in. Sit up nice and tall. Take a moment. We did a lot of work in the neck and shoulders today. But just take some time to just be there with it. Not really our neck, but into our shoulders and upper back more. We're going to slide our right leg out a little bit and slide our left leg in all the way. And here, just fold forward. You can bring your forehead right towards that, well, towards the ankle. Inhale, slide back up. Slide the left leg in, slide the right leg out, and then you can help that right leg in a little farther in. And again, just pull forward. Excellent. And then you can slide all the way up. We're going to do one last little upper back bend, and it's not going to be fish because, you know, some of you hate fish. So here's your opportunity to do something similar that's not going to place any weight in your head. So shoulders are going to loop, and just start to feel the heart lift up, and maybe the elbows bend a little bit. Turn your hands to face whichever way feels comfortable. And just keep imagining the heart is being pulled up towards the sky. The shoulders are cascading up and over towards the back. The head is just comfortable. Beautiful. Exhale, release, lift up. I'm going to take our legs, bend them, hold on to the backs of the legs now and fold. Let the head rest on the thighs or on the knees. And then just start to slide the ankles forward and the heels forward. Keep your belly resting on your thighs. And once you get down, so if you notice my back is a little rounded here, I want to reach the sides of the heart, sides of the waist, sides of the ribs, forward towards those toes so that we're getting a little length. And then breathe. Feel the belly on the thighs. As you inhale, we're squishing the thighs. As you exhale, you're just releasing. Release the hands forward and start to roll yourself up. Excellent. Okay, so let's make our way down to the floor and do a little bit of hip stuff. Let's take our right leg, we'll bring it on top of our left. Come into thread the needle. Take the heels of your hands and just press the thighs away, creating a little space in the pelvis. You can move one hand at a time. You can do both together. You can do a little bit of both just to see which feels best. Feel the upper arms drawing down, so again, collarbones are wide. And then once you've got a good space, then start to add a little bit of pelvic tilting. So lift the tailbone up. Exhale, release it back down. Inhale up. And down. This time as we inhale it up, press the low back into the floor so that you can lift that left knee up. And you can grab hold of the back of the thigh, you can hold on to the top of the shin. You can hold on to that right foot in a baby cradle and lift that left leg up. Wherever you've decided to be, hold. Keep the right foot active. So imagine the right inner heel reaching away. And then if you want to make this a little bit more of an active pose, see if you can take the left foot and reach it away so that the work of keeping that leg in this position is being done in the hip as opposed to just passively being drawn in towards you. One more breath if you're doing it actively, then we're going to draw both knees back in and start to move the legs over a little bit more towards the left. Woo, keep that inner right heel reaching away. Breathe. Beautiful, come back through center. And then we'll just hold on to that right leg, draw it in as you stretch the left leg straight. And then we'll switch, taking the left foot on top of the right leg, starting off with the legs, the legs on the floor, and just giving yourself a little extra space in the pelvis. And breathing. Notice if you're bringing any tension into the neck, jaw, shoulder area. Just release it. And start with a little pelvic tilting, and then as the low back flattens to the floor, we'll take the legs up. Again, you can keep that left foot active by pressing out through the left inner heel. You can make this pose a lot more challenging by trying to keep the leg in position as you reach the right leg out. And then we'll draw it back in. Notice it's, oh, it's a little farther. Isn't that neat? And then both legs a little farther out towards the right until you get that really interesting sensation intensified in the left hip. Left glutes, piriformis, all that good stuff. Beautiful. Come back through center. We'll release the right leg as we draw the left knee in. And then both knees to your chest. A little hug. And you can rock here a little bit. You can roll the knees in big circles. Start to release the legs to the floor. We're going to stretch ourselves really long here, super long through the right side. Super long through the left side. Through both. And then making your way into Shavasana, so grabbing your extra layers, making sure you're comfortable. So we did a lot of stuff in our upper backs today. If you have a bolster and you want to make this, you can take your bolster, have your seat on the floor, and just add a little bit more of a upper back bed opening. But, feel free not to as well. So notice the weight of your body sinking into the mat. Let it go. Find the depth of your drop. You almost want to feel like energetically pinned to the floor.
And if you're not finding that, use each exhale to create more of this drop. And if the exhale isn't working, then use an affirmation as you exhale. I'm exhaling and releasing my arms into the mat. I'm exhaling and releasing my shoulders into the mat. And keep going until the whole body feels rested and dropped and heavy. Today's daily Om is called mind stretching. Flexibility is the capacity to bend without breaking, as well as a continual willingness to change or be changed in order to accommodate new circumstances. People with flexible minds are open to shifting their course when necessary or useful. They are not overly attached to the things going the way they had planned. This enables them to take advantage of opportunities that a more rigid person would miss out on. It can also make life a lot more fun. When we're flexible, we allow for situations we could not have planned for, and so the world continues to surprise and delight us. Since reality is in a constant state of flux, it doesn't make sense to be rigid or to cling to any one idea of what's happening or what is going to happen. We are more in tune with reality when we're flexible. Being in tune enables us to adjust to the external environment and other people as they change and grow. When we're rigid or stuck in our ways, instead of adjusting to the world around us, we hunker down, clinging to a concept of reality rather than reality itself. When we do this, we cut ourselves off from life, and we miss out on valuable opportunities as well as a lot of joy. Just as we create flexibility in our bodies by stretching physically, we can create limberness in our minds by stretching mentally. Every day we have the opportunity to exercise our flexibility. We can do this in small ways, such as taking a different route home from work or challenging our exercise routine. On a larger scale, we can rearrange the furniture or redo a room in our house. If these are things that you already do regularly, you can stretch your mind by imagining several different possibilities for how the next year will unfold. As we do this, our minds become more supple and open. And when changes do come our way, we are able to accommodate and flow with the new reality. So you can deepen your breath.
As the energy starts to move through you and down through your arms and your legs, encourage it by wiggling those fingers and toes and stretch and yawn. You can stretch the right side of your body and the left and just notice all that space you've created. When you have stretched and yawned in every way that feels good, do take a little bit of time on your side because it feels good to just do nothing but experience all that you have just brought into the body. And here you can take a moment to thank yourself for your practice. Thank yourself for all these wonderful feelings that you're giving, that you've provided already, that are here. So sit in them for a little bit longer. Again, if you have a busy afternoon or whatever time, send some of this feeling later on. You know, it's energy. You can send it off to later. It works. Just have to remember. That's why we want to take advantage of how we feel at the moment so we can just tap into it later. When you're ready to make your way up to seated, sit up nice and tall. Bring our hands to our heart up into our hands. And feel free to unmute yourself so we can end the practice our own together. We take a moment to offer gratitude for all that we have on and off our mats, including these amazing bodies that support us, including these amazing people that support us. I invite you to come up with at least 2 or 3 other reasons why our lives are so lucky and privileged, and we're fortunate to be here at this time, even in these crazy times. And we'll end the practice with the sound of one Om. Taking a nice big inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. Inhaling to Om. Om. And feel that vibration connect you deeper into the earth, lengthening you up a little higher to the heavens. As a reminder that our thoughts should always be filtered through our hearts, we bring our hands to our head to represent our thoughts, and then right back to our hearts where they belong. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you.
Yay.
That was
Thanks.
great.
I thought so too. I loved it. It was fun. It was
Yeah.
a great
I love
job.
the great